Apache. There's nothing hotter in the air or on the ground for Jack Holt, Army crew chief.
The Apache's got advanced everything, like a TV for target acquisition. The gunner aims just by moving his head. Talk about hot. This bird can make tracks at 200 miles an hour. Now that's cool. No, that's hot. Find your future in the Army.
It's no secret that in airsoft, gas blowback rifles are kind of a big deal. Be it from the crazy and outlandish to the huge 8mm Barretts, or even just, in general, your basic 416 from WeTech. And even then, it kind of depends on which one you get, considering that there are only a few brands that make gas blowback rifles. But yet, I'd like to shine a light on those that don't get a lot of love, and are actually pretty good. I mean, the only one that actually makes a decent gas, non-blowback rifle would be ones like, say, of course, ASG, which makes the TAC-6, which is basically just a wind gun, a pistol caliber carbine. And even then, it basically takes the magazines you'll see in, of course, the non-blowback Glock mags, or sometimes, of course, Berettas, from, once again, wind gun. And again, it's one of those things that, when you look at it, it's not really that much. It doesn't give you that recoil of a blowback or really anything. It's just a basic non-blowback pistol just scaled up into a pistol caliber carbine. I mean, don't get me wrong, the ASG TAC-6 is a good carbine to get on a price tag of about under $100. And again, it does have a suppressor that does go with it, and again, there's a lot one can do with this. But that got me to looking and wondering, is there any other non-blowback rifle sub $200 or even sub $150 that actually is good or is underappreciated? So I did a little digging, and when I did, I came across a listing on Amazon. One for a Tactical Force airsoft rifle that not only, of course, is $124 with tax, $125 depending on the state, which is basically sub $130. Not only that, but it comes with 2 extra magazines, 350 rounds each, and, no joke, these magazines are designed in a way that I found intriguing, and is an M4, and is a pseudo blowback. You're probably wondering what I'm talking about. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you none other than, of course, the Tactical Force M4 CQB.
What the hell am I looking at? Nice fucking model!
I have several questions.
Now, before anyone says anything, before you guys go to the comments section and just rave and rage about how horrid this thing is, number one, I did not spend any money on this. This was actually sent in by a viewer, and I thank you for that, even though it's from California. Number two, there are 2 versions of this that are listed on the Elite Force website. The standard version and, of course, the advanced version. The advanced version is what I have. The advanced version is the hop-up version.
What the fuck?
You heard correctly, this thing does have hop-up. The hop-up is actually under the rail system right there at the second to closest lug.
Nice fucking model!
Right there. And it's an all polymer construction with a weird pseudo flash hider slash suppressor at the end of it. And like I said, it actually is somewhat of a thing. And you actually do, just listen again. It's a ka-chunk. This is basically an open bolt automatic. And when I mean by automatic, I mean it's semi-auto and 6-round burst. And it's based off an air gun. The question I think a lot of you are probably asking me is, Al, could you get to the point already?
Yes, get over there!
The point I want to state is that this could be a good alternative for those who want to get into gas blowbacks, or at least want to get into gas guns, but don't want to spend the money for a gas gun. They want to kind of get their toe into it to see if it's for them. So, I present to you the Tactical Force M4 CQB, and kind of ask the question, is it worth the money? So, again, kind of stating before that this is $124.99, i.e. sub $130. The same price tag as, of course, a SEMA M16 AEG, a JGG3, and many other combat machines before the price hike. So the question comes down to, what features does this have that makes you want to get this? Well, number one, I want to kind of go from tip to butt, or at least from butt to tip, because the butt stock here is basically their version of the Magpul fixed stock MOE. And before you call me crazy, let me give you the evidence for that one. Here's the Magpul. Here's the stock. Lining them up side by side, they practically fit the same, except, unlike this one, which is a fixed stock, this one actually extends. You heard correct. This actually extends. This essentially extends the length of pull you want. However, this is only a 4-position stock. A little sad in my opinion, and does once again give you that nice length of pull, but if you want to be an SBR length, you can, and for someone like me, this is the perfect size right here that I can actually use. I have no issue with it. I'm not bunching up. This is not uncomfortable for me. If anything, this is actually the perfect length for this SBR styled rifle. And yes, SBR, as in, this is a SBR gun, a short barrel rifle. The other thing is the design of just this thing, because it looks like it's taking inspiration from, of course, the rifle from Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I believe it was the 468 or something along that lines. Basically something that had this weird, bulky, basically system here. But if you really wanted to go with a allegory for a game, it's basically, Mom, can we have the marksman's rifle? It's like, no, son, we have the marksman's rifle at home. And getting to the pistol grip area, the pistol grip is designed as an ergo grip, meaning that you can basically be left or right-handed and it will be a comfy grip. And it is very comfortable. I am very happy with this. The dust cover does not move. This is actually all molded plastic. In fact, the entire body is polymer except the internals, which are metal. The trigger's metal, the fire selector's metal, the magazine is a mix of polymer and metal, and uses a wind gun style magazine system. But the magazine we'll get to in a bit. But what I like about it is the design of the magazine is designed with these ribs on here to basically, for you to have a nice, comfortable grip on. And it actually meshes up nicely with, once again, the magwell, which also has these ribs. You can make the joke in the comments section. I'm not. I actually have class. Where you can basically hold it at the magwell and it's not uncomfortable. In reality, it's very comfortable to hold it at the magwell. Because, once again, if you don't want to hold it at the rail system here, which, by the way, when choosing your, your rail attachments, especially for, like, foregrips, be careful, because, once again, you do not want to cover up the hop-up unit, which, again, is reached via a small Allen wrench. Again, one of those things. And then, of course, rounding it off, we have a pair of built-in iron sights, which do flip up. And they are non-adjustable, but they do the job well, at least. It's a small peep aperture with a hood, and, of course, the standard, just, Armalite style front sight. Again, I have no issue with it. And the cool thing is that each one is labeled, so that way if these, for some reason if for some reason these break and you want to replace them, you have the number for the parts number at least. The fire selector, once again, is your standard fire selector between safe, semi, and 6-round burst. No full auto, just 6-round burst, but believe me, we're going to find out why. You're gonna see at the end of this. But moving on, of course, the big thing is just a big issue they've missed. The biggest issue they've missed with this thing is that for for sub 130, they could have given you threads right here at the end of this barrel. They could have gave you threads. but we'll get to that at the end of the video, or at least with the conclusions. The other thing is, once again, the charging handle does actually function. It is the charging handle, and again, it's just... We're going to ghost that trigger, get the reset, there we go, and... Going to keep going, going to keep going, going to keep going. There's the reset. Literally, right there. We're just going to ghost that trigger. Right there is the wall. And we're just going to slightly pull, 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 and break. Right there's the break. It's not uncomfortable, but it's definitely a non-blowback style in terms of the trigger reset. And the magazine release is actually an AEG mag. Now I hear you saying, Al, you're insane. Hear me out. They designed the magazine almost based off of an AEG mag, and I am going to try this to see if I am right or if I am absolutely insane. You may call me insane in the comment section. Will an AEG magazine fit in this? And if so, then that means you can swap out the mag release for other mag releases if you want. So, let's just grab a magazine in here. Let's say, here we go. Will it fit a Crytek magazine? It will not fit a Crytek mag. Will not fit a Crytek mag. Let's try it. Let's try another magazine. Will it fit a BAMF mag? Will it fit a BAMF mag? It was... Oh, we were almost there. We were almost there. It was almost in. Now, here we go. An Elite Force Stenag mag. Will it fit a Stenag mag? Let's see. It fits an AEG magazine, folks. It fits a mid-cap. So, if you are able to 3D print an adapter to where it has this part right here, you could literally feed AEG magazines, Stenag, mind you, but AEG mags into this, and actually, that's insane. 3D printers, get on it. So while it will not, of course, feed other types of AEG mags, Stenag mags apparently it likes. You gotta be careful with them, of course. Just one of those things. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of cool. And again, the magazine holds 350 BBs. You get 2 of these, and the way you feed them, of course, is you literally open up the door here, much like a high cap, a 350 high cap. Put in the BBs, close it up, and then just go in there, and the way you do it, we'll get to that in a bit. But I want to kind of talk about the buttstock here, because I know many of you are looking at this and you're thinking, oh, that would be great on my AEG, or maybe, elsewhere. It won't work, because the way the buffer tube is designed, it is designed to where it's only a side button press, not your standard, like that. It's not a standard buffer tube, it is a wholly its own style of buffer tube. Missed opportunity, but it has a ton of holes here and a ton of sling points here, so you can mount a sling. And if you have a rail mount, you can, of course, mount a sling rail mount right here on there and basically tactical this thing up however you want. But, ladies and gentlemen, I've gabbed on long enough. Let's go to the range, the chrono, and basically talk and see how this thing performs. Now, in order to actually CO2 this bad boy up, what you have to do is, of course, number 1, have it empty. Check it is empty. It is empty. Number 2, press the button on the mock extendable MOE style buttstock. It is pressed, and yank it off. It is off, and you shall be exposed, of course, to this lovely little screw right here, which has these 3 right here. I believe those are baffles. I'm not 100% sure. But then reach into your pocket, grab out the Allen wrench, which comes with the gun itself. Stick it into the hole. and just twist a bit. Now, to help out, of course, with some things, you shall, of course, have to make sure that you're able to, more or less, make sure the thing is lubed up, which, another thing I want to talk about is, of course, complimenting on the actual screw itself, because it has this nice, huge washer on it that is... The system itself is actually pretty nice, I'm not going to lie. And it actually is a very much so, very good enclosed system. Now, take some lube, like this Aim Top 80 silicone oil, and drop a couple of drops right there on the valve. 1, 2, there, whatever, just go ahead and put a smidge. Then, whoop, you're in the shot. Then, take some CO2, 1, put like this, nozzle down, and then, of course, 2, nozzle up. Drop it there. And then, of course, we screw, well, we put a little bit of lube on the tip of the one facing up. Just like this. Just like that. Put a little bit right there. There we go. Not too much, not too little. Just enough. There we go. And then, of course, if we take this, we start screwing it on. And then, of course, we take a little bit of the lube, and we just start lubing around, of course, the O-ring, you know, just to make sure it's nice and lubed up, you know, just enough right there to make sure that there are no leaks, or at least we get to see the leaks, you know, that's how it is. And then, of course, we'll take out your wrench, stick it in the hole again, and you just start turning the thing until, of course, you hear the nice little hiss, and you just keep turning until you do not hear the hiss anymore. There's a small leak, so I'm just going to do this real quick. There we go. Just a small leak. It happens sometimes. So I'm just going to take this, turn it again, and make sure it's nice and tight. Now that leak is a little small, so we're just going to go ahead and quickly get the magazine, and we are going to get the FPS in this while we still got some gas on this sucker. Right, now we would have the gun, but I want to kind of take a minute to talk about the magazine. This magazine is ingenious, I'm not going to lie, because it's a high cap, technically, and you're probably thinking, oh, there's something in the front to kind of help with the shaker? No, none of that. Well, how do you load the magazine then? Well, this is actually where it's clever. You take this back part here, pull it back, and push up. And if you have to, you can hold down like this. Like an accordion, and I love it. So, take it, load it into the gun itself. Yeah, pull back on this to load. And the good thing is that unlike most, it doesn't really do that much. But putting it to semi-auto, because that's what we mostly use it as, I'm going to put the barrel right there, and I am now going to fire. Hopefully not enough CO2 leaks. So we're going to see, hopefully, what the FPS is on this sucker. 241. A little bit of recoil. 232. 276. Like a 22. It's got the recoil of a 22. 291. 295. 304. 252. 313. 310. 279. 248. 312. 310. 275. So we are looking at about the 300 FPS with 0.2s. Cool thing is that I can pull this out and I'm not going to worry, because this thing is a cool open bolt system almost, or at least, yeah, it is basically an open bolt system. I want you to look up in there and just look at that system as I fire this. Did you get that? Let me just get up in there. You probably couldn't, because the thing is firing so fast. And the sad thing is, I don't know if this thing is pneumatic or if it's a type of blowback.
Ah, boy, here we go.
Alright, fine. I won't talk about the system. I'll wait till the breakdown video to talk about that. So, let's go ahead, get outside, and see what we're getting distance-wise out of this, shall we?
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Looking for that perfect game for your gaming console? Video Game Corner is the largest independently owned video gaming store in North Mississippi, located at 1519 Highway 72 in Corinth. We are an authorized limited-run retail store and have a massive collection of retro games and game systems, and also plush toys and collectibles. We also pay top dollar for your used video games. Check them out Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit Video Game Corner in Corinth.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Ah, it is a wonderful, wonderful muddy day. So, we're going to see if this will actually hit distance and hit the barn. I would run it on paper, but you guys have actually liked these a little better to kind of actually get a distance. Because as many of you said before, groupings and the definitive shooter is subjective. So I could be a horrible shot, and this reached the distance. You could be a great shot and it reached the distance. So it's kind of, again, one of those things of, who's the better shot. But in this case, it's just more or less of, how far can this fucker go, and is it only CQB range? So, as stated before in the review, this thing does have a hop-up. It is right there, I believe. Ah, right there it is. Right there. Has a little hole in it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the run cam. I'm going to use the rear sight only, and we're going to see what it can do. So, aiming for the barn, will it hit the barn? So that's kind of the thing, is it will and will not hit the barn. I think the hop-up may be blown, considering this is a pre-owned. So the hop-up rubber and nub, it's either the nub or the rubber that may be a little bit blown out of this thing. So that is a, yeah. But just for pure science, let's see what just pure straight flat distance is. So it reached the tree line, and that is pretty good distance, actually. So, that's actually not bad in terms of actually being able to reach pretty far out. So in terms of whether or not I'd be able to hit anything at a long distance with this thing, say with .25s, is a subjective type thing. But whether or not I'll be able to hit something at, say, the barn distance, or at that distance with .25s, or maybe .2s, that's a definitive. So, the one thing I've been wanting to do for a while, because, again, I keep hearing people say that the full auto on this thing is absolutely insane. I kind of want to see what the full auto does with this. So, flipping it to the full auto, or the 6-round burst, I kind of want to see what we're getting in terms of just the rate of fire of this sucker. So, aiming at the barn, which let me just go ahead and turn on the run cam so that way you guys can see what's at the end of the barrel here. There we go. That actually hurt a little bit. What the fuck? Good God, the entire thing is vibrating. Is this a mini Polar Star? Jesus Christ. I did not have to tell you why. Good sweet Jesus. I've got a good... That is American 180 rate of fire. That is freaking KWC freaking 712 rate of fire. I think that's actually HPA rate of fire. I think that's DSG rate of fire. I don't know. All I know is I'm going to reload this, and I'm just going to see how much I can actually do before it just says, yeah, no, you can't do that anymore, sweetheart. You need to calm the hell down. It's just, got another magazine loaded in this thing. I'm going to just one-hand this sucker, and I'm just going to, I wish I had a pistol brace right now. Three bursts. It emptied the entire magazine in 3 bursts. I don't know if I'm not filling the magazine all the way. All I know is that this thing is insane. That's all I know. Okay, I think that's a full mag. So let's just see, because as much as I do love full auto, the question for many of you is whether or not you can, like, you know, how fast can you actually get rounds down range on semi-auto. So let me get the semi-auto. We're just going to, with just the regular trigger finger, not the middle finger method, see how many rounds I can get down range. Pretty good. How many rounds can I get down range with the middle finger method? Apparently enough to where it just makes it not want to go back into battery. Jesus Christ, that's just, I can't help myself. Oh my God, that is just, let's just get back inside and give our final thoughts on this thing. It's just, I'll be honest, I was not expecting that whatsoever. I fully expected this thing to look good, but not perform good. But the fact that it's able to but the hop itself is, I think there's an issue with the hop, but I may not be sure. But even though we were definitely getting ranges beyond 100 feet, that is something I'm actually impressed by. And the fact that this is shooting, of course, CQB FPS means that it's good for close quarters combat. Would I take this out to, say, Tupelo Airsoft Club and run it? Of course I would. Who the hell do you think I am? The big thing, though, is what are my gripes with it? A lot, actually. Again, the buffer tube itself, I wish they used it as standard buffer tube, because again, that would have been great to actually be able to use your favorite stocks. I wish this wasn't like one solid piece of plastic, because if they had gone the G&G combat machine route, you could basically soup this up to whatever you wanted to be. I mean, again, imagine how awesome it would be if you had the ability to basically remove the upper here and literally do whatever you wanted to it. I mean, again, I'm going to be looking inside this thing, and I will film the takedown of this to kind of see what's inside, what the internals look like. But just imagine this in an SPR-style build like this, where you literally have that ability to basically take something like this and turn into this. I would love the ability to basically have a non-pseudo blowback rifle where the CO2 goes in the stock, and I can basically use AEG magazines for, say, a sub $130. Could you imagine the market that could create? Could you imagine the stuff that could come from that? Elite Force has something here. Tactical Force has something here. Umrex has something here. Someone show them this video and tell them they got something here and they can do something with this. Because again, this is a good idea. Take this, improve upon it, and make it like the G&G combat machine, where you can basically have it, that modularity, but the same gas efficiency as this. Because here's what's funny, folks. This is basically rated to be able to fire through both magazines, 350 rounds each. Now, I'm no mathematician, mind you, but I'm imagining that 350 BBs and you just firing this thing on semi-automatic the entire day and using the amazing system like that is definitely going to last you an entire game day. I'm talking from, like, say, this is the time where I'm using for Tupelo Airsoft Club, mind you, but from 12 to like 6 at night. That can last you all that. And I should know. I've used I literally didn't run out of ammo last time at my game, at the Fallout event I was at, and I was using literally this and and my assault carbine, which again, that's a video for another day to talk about the Franken M4, but this, ladies and gentlemen, has potential. This is a 3D printer's wet dream. And when I mean 3D printer's wet dream, I mean the same kind of wet dream as the TAC-6. This has potential. A lot of potential. The same as this. If someone at the companies could basically look at it and literally take a bit of Kel-Tec's cocaine stash and just do something insane with this, we would have something. We would have a sub $130 pseudo blowback rifle here that could take AEG magazines, use 2 CO2 and a standardized buffer tube, and we'd basically have something. Someone get in contact with somebody break into Kel-Tec and take some of their cocaine and just do something with this. I'm talking to the 3D printing community, I'm talking to Elite Force, I'm talking to the Tactical Force, I'm talking to Umarex. Someone! Do something! But, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, what is my final verdict for the Tactical Force M4 CQB? You're gonna hate me. I know you will, because I know a lot of you are going to say that it doesn't deserve this, but I'm sorry. For a sub $130, for the original price of a G&G combat machine, and the options it gives you, hell, the magazines themselves being 20 bucks a pop, not that expensive on Amazon, links down below in the pinned comment, by the way, I give this my highest, well, not highest rating, but close to highest rating. It is no more, no less than a 9 out of 10. A must own. This right here is something that needs to be in your collection. It needs to be in your beginning airsoft kit. This is a pseudo blowback that would definitely be good for either plinking in the backyard or actually helping. Just basically, this is a untouched treasure trove of modding potential and 3D printing potential. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying, if Elite Force or Umarex, the main company, was to release another version of this, a V2, mind you, that actually has threaded barrel, has a standardized buffer tube, has the ability to basically, instead of taking the standardized magazine, which don't get me wrong, I love this. It's ingenious in my mind. But actually take AEG magazines, we would buy it up. We would eat it up like a fat man in all-you-can-eat buffet in Texas. And I'm just saying now, someone get in contact with them and let them know they have potential with this. I am dead serious. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I've been AirsoftAL, and a huge thank you to the viewer out in Cali who sent this out to me. I wish you weren't in California, but it's how the cards go. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you want this yourself, down in the pinned comment is links to the Amazon page for not only this, but also the magazines that you can get as well. I don't make any money from those links, I just want to help out the airsoft community, especially those who shop on Amazon. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to help support the channel, consider donating to the PayPal or the Cash App down below. It's folks like you that actually make what we do here possible, and one of the goals that we are actually wanting to do, or at least I want to do personally, is actually be able to get a Fallout neon sign to replace the SRU blueprints and help build up the Fallout background you see behind me. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been AirsoftAL, and I shall see all you lovely, lovely people in the next review. Till next time, later.